When I started using Confluence, I thought it was just a bunch of pages that I could look at information on, but it's much more than that. There's other types of content beyond the basic page that we can use to share information and collaborate. So here, we're going to review all of the content types to make sure that you are equipped to use this powerful tool. Now, one thing to keep in mind is I'm using Confluence Cloud Premium, so some of the features that I show you might not be visible in your instance. This could be because you're using the free version of Confluence or maybe Data Center, and some of these features aren't available yet. I'll do my best to call out which ones are available in Premium and other versions, and also have information down in the description to help you untangle what you're seeing. First, we'll start with the page. This is the first piece of content that I interacted with, and it's what I think of most of the time when I think of content in Confluence. And it's what shows up down here in the content tree. If I go and hit the Create button, it's also going to be the first thing listed. And this is because most of the content I happen to create is a page. When I go to make a new page, it will look very similar to a word editor. I'll have a whole bunch of options for things like formatting and macros and other things. And at the very least, I'll have to give it a name. Now, one useful thing about pages is they allow the use of templates. These are just pre-saved layouts that I can use to quickly create new information. And I can mouse over them to see them. Pages right now are the only content type that lets me use templates. So when we talk about something like blogs or databases, keep in mind these templates aren't available there yet. Another important thing about pages is they exist in a hierarchy. I can click and drag a new page and make it a child of another one, giving me a page tree or a structure. This is a very important feature because it allows me to nest information in a way that makes logical sense. All of my policies would live under a policy page, all of my meeting notes under a meeting notes page. Many other content types also fit into this hierarchy, so I'm not limited just to pages. The next type of content we'll talk about is the whiteboard. This is a relatively new piece of content and lets me draw and put images and other icons on the screen to build a diagram, or to map out a process, or perform a retrospective. Think of this like a whiteboard in your office that you might stand around, and your team can quickly add notes in different spots. You might add different shapes and connectors to show some kind of relationship, and work on this together as a group. I have found these very useful for doing things like mapping out how systems work, or for just jotting down some quick notes while I'm working with other folks. It is also very useful to present. It does also have some built-in connections to Jira if you're using that for things like project tracking, so you can quickly pull in tickets to represent them on your digital whiteboard. And if we zoom out, we'll see that this whiteboard has as much space as we could ever need. There's no real edge to it, so you can keep building out as much as you need to. Whiteboards also exist in the structure, so I can click and put them under a parent. I find this incredibly useful for ensuring that my visual documentation is in the same place as other documentation. The next piece of content I'll quickly talk about is the database. This is a relatively new feature and allows us to put structured data within Confluence. Prior to this, we were stuck using a table similar to a spreadsheet and putting that on the page, which can work. However, the power of a database is it can tie into other things. Right off the bat, I can quickly link to part of Confluence and maybe display every page with a certain keyword in it. Or maybe I want to pull in all Jira tickets related to a certain project or priority and add additional information. I can add additional columns as well of many different types that let me associate more information with each record or each row. I can do things like build out a customer relationship management system, a project tracker, an FAQ, many things that I would have trouble doing with just a table. Like whiteboards and pages, databases live in my hierarchy, so I can give them a parent. This makes it very quick to see what it relates to and allows me to easily manage and sort my information. Next, we'll take a look at the Smart Link. This has replaced the shortcut and just allows me to insert a link to some other information. This could be a link to another page in Confluence, or it could be a link to another system. For example, if I'm using Trello, I might have a link to a Trello board that I can instantly copy in here, or if I have Loom videos that I want to insert without having to put them on a page. Smart links make it very easy to include additional information, so when my team comes into Confluence, they don't have to worry or wonder where do they go to get something. They'll just see this link, be able to click on it, and be taken right to where that content lives. So these really help reduce the distance someone has to travel to get good information. Just like my databases, whiteboards, and pages, smart links live in my page structure, so I can click and drag them around and put them under the most appropriate parent. Personally, I find this very useful for doing things like linking out to reporting systems. Prior to this, they would just be a hyperlink on a page, and they might not stand out as much. Now, these 4 pieces of content, page, whiteboard, database, and SmartLink, all exist in my page tree. This next piece of content, though, the blog, does not. It lives up in the blogs section. Now, looking at this, you might say it looks exactly like a page. And you're right, it does. It has all the same options. I can use macros and add action items and links and images that I can do in a page. The difference is, however, blogs are intended to be a point-in-time announcement or recording of information, whereas a page is more perennial. The example I always use is something like a product release. That happens once in time, so once I release it, I might not have to go back and edit it. Whereas a page might be updated over time with new versions being produced. Blogs are listed here chronologically, which makes it great to go back in time and see what the team has been up to. Frequently, I see teams using this for weekly updates. I use it for my own personal performance information and anything else that I want to see a snapshot in over time. So these are our 5 main pieces of content and a little bit about what makes each one unique. Please check out my other videos on these. I dig in much more in depth to how to use each one. But there's also a number of things that they all share. Each one of these pieces of content has the ability to be restricted. For example, on a page, I can click on this lock icon and restrict access. I might say only some people can view it, or only some people can edit it. This can be very useful if you have sensitive information, or if you just have pages you don't want other people to come in and edit. This is very commonly done to help ensure that the general workers in an organization can see a page, but they won't have access to that edit pencil. A space administrator can also go into space settings and click on features and turn on or turn off many of these content types. For example, if my team is never using blogs, I might turn it off, and you'll notice it's disappeared from the options. Or maybe I don't want anyone to use smart links because I don't want to link out of this space. And that option is now gone from my create menu. Now this setting is at the space level, so it's possible that one space you're in has blogs turned on, and another space has it turned off. So if you're missing some of these, the first step is to go to your space administrator, and to find these people, you can click on space settings and space details, and you'll see a list of names down at the bottom of folks who can help you out. You also might go to your IT team and ask them if whiteboards are turned on. So that's a quick overview of the 5 main types of content you'll find in Confluence. Again, we were looking at Confluence Cloud Premium. So if you don't see these and your space administrator can't turn them on, you might be using another version like Data Center that doesn't have access to those features yet. Check out the description below for more information there. Also, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe. That really helps me out. And drop a comment with any questions you have about this, things I might have missed, or other topics you are interested in. That really helps me figure out what I should make next and share. So thank you so much for taking time to learn about these basic content types and some of their uses. And I really hope to see you around here again soon.